Good morning from the National Weather Service office in Lake Charles. I'm meteorologist Donald Jones, and this is your weather briefing for Sunday, April 2nd, with an update on the severe weather potential for later on this evening and into tonight. And in fact, we've already had a tornado touch down early this morning across central Texas, and it's that system that's going to be moving eastward and impacting our area later today. Let's go ahead and take a look at the current situation across the area this morning. And you can see that area of low pressure as we take a look at the weather map this morning, centered across central Texas. And it's this system that will be gradually pushing eastward throughout the day today that'll impact our area later on this evening and into tonight. And the storms today are actually going to come about in two separate waves. The first is going to come as a warm front lifts out of the Gulf of Mexico across the area this morning, and that'll produce just scattered showers and thunderstorms. We're not really expecting that activity to be on the severe side. It won't be until later this afternoon, when that low-pressure area in Texas begins to approach the area, that we start to see the severe weather develop. As was mentioned yesterday, all forms of severe weather will be possible this evening with this event, including strong tornadoes, large hail, and widespread damaging winds. The Storm Prediction Center still has much of the area in a moderate risk for severe weather, although that moderate risk has shifted slightly a little bit further to the north, and now covers most of central and northern Louisiana, as well as Tyler County and northern Jasper and Newton counties. The rest of the area is in an enhanced risk for severe weather, which is still a fairly significant risk level. It's 3 out of 5 on the Storm Prediction Center's classification scale. But regardless of what risk area you're in, there'll still be the potential of severe weather throughout the evening this evening, including tornadoes, damaging wind, and large hail. Breaking down each one of those by category, this is the tornado probability graphic, and what this graphic shows is the probability of a tornado occurring within 25 miles of any given location. So for example, the area highlighted in red there has a 15% chance of a tornado occurring within 25 miles of any given location in that area. Now 15% may not sound like a very large probability, but when you consider that on most days the probability of a tornado is 0, 15% is actually very high. Surrounding that is the 10% probability, which extends into northern Louisiana, then the 5% probability, which covers all of Louisiana, as well as eastern Texas, southern Arkansas, and into Mississippi. So from this graphic, you kind of get the idea that the greatest tornado threat is going to be across central Louisiana, as well as Tyler, Jasper, and Newton counties in southeast Texas, with the tornado threat diminishing as you go further south. But keep in mind, even just a 5% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of a location is still something to take very seriously. Taking a look at the damaging wind probabilities, you can see the greatest probability for damaging winds to occur actually extends across much of northern Louisiana, where they're looking at about a 45% chance of damaging winds occurring within 25 miles of a location. A much larger area is under a 30% probability of occurrence, and that includes just about all of our area. So roughly, you've got about a 1 in 3 chance of seeing damaging winds within 25 miles of any given location as we go through the afternoon and evening. So we do expect some pretty widespread damaging wind concerns today and tonight. Taking a look at the hail probabilities, the area most likely to experience a large hail will again be across portions of Tyler, Jasper, and Newton counties, as well as central Louisiana, which are outlined in a 30% chance of large hail, while the rest of the area is highlighted in about a 15% chance. So we do expect some large hail with this event as well. Now let's take a look at the timing for the severe weather expected Sunday night into Monday morning. And again, as I mentioned earlier, this activity is going to occur in two waves, with an earlier wave occurring during the mid-morning to early afternoon hours. Again, that wave is not expected to be on the severe side. What we're looking at here is when we're expecting the severe weather to occur. And for much of southeast Texas, the threat's going to begin by mid-afternoon, about 3 p.m., and last till roughly around 9 p.m. Now, of course, this timing graphic is not perfect. It's based on the latest model data and is subject to change. But this kind of gives you an idea of the time frame that we're looking for the severe weather to occur. For southwest Louisiana, we're looking at the severe weather threat to begin somewhere around 7 p.m. and continuing through the night into the early morning Monday through about 1 a.m. And for Acadiana, we're really not expecting the severe weather threat to really ramp up until late tonight, right around midnight, and continuing through the early morning hours about 6 a.m. before the squall line finally pushes through and gets out of the area. Here's a look at a radar simulation of the event, and again this kind of shows the timing of the event as we go through the afternoon and evening and into the overnight hours. You can see a squall line develops over central Texas and push east into Louisiana as we go through the evening and overnight hours. And ahead of it, we're expecting individual thunderstorms to develop. Both of these types of thunderstorms will have the potential to be severe, with the individual storms potentially becoming supercells, and then the squall line producing damaging winds as it moves through the area. Squall lines are also capable of producing isolated tornadoes as well. In addition to the severe weather threat, we're also looking at the threat of flash flooding, and a flash flood watch has been issued and will be effective until 7 a.m. Monday morning. Now, flash flood watch means that conditions are favorable for flash flooding to occur anywhere in the watch area, but some areas are more likely to see flooding than others. I showed this graphic yesterday and I want to put it back up again. This is the radar estimated rainfall from the event last Wednesday evening that caused some flash flooding across parts of the area. The areas highlighted in the oranges and reds were areas that saw anywhere from about 4 to 6 inches of rain. And it's these areas that are still quite saturated that are going to be at greatest risk for flash flooding this evening. Taking a look at the forecast rainfall totals for today, we're looking at anywhere from 3 to 4 inches across much of southwest Louisiana and into Acadiana. A little bit lower in the rainfall totals as you go back towards southeast Texas, with 1 to 2 inches possible. And these are the widespread amounts. Our general rule of thumb is to double these values to get the localized amounts, so we could look at anywhere from 6 to 8 inches of rainfall potentially falling in localized areas across southwest Louisiana, and then 2 to 4 inches across southeast Texas. So to summarize, we've got 2 rounds of storms that are expected on Sunday. Again, the first will develop as the warm front lifts north across the area, and that'll be mid-morning into the early afternoon hours. And these storms are not expected to be severe. Then a second round of thunderstorms are expected to move into the area late this afternoon into this evening, and these are the storms that are going to be more concerning. These are the ones that will have the potential to be severe. And as we saw in the timing graphic, we're going to be looking at that moving into southeast Texas anywhere from about 3 to 7 p.m., then into southwest Louisiana from about 7 p.m. to midnight or a little after midnight, and then into Acadiana from about midnight to 6 a.m. Again, these storms will have the potential to be severe, with strong or long-lived tornadoes possible. And again, that's a fairly rare statement for our area to have to be talking about potential strong or long-lived tornadoes. These are tornadoes that are generally F2 or greater and have path lengths several miles long. Large hail and widespread damaging winds will also be a possibility. And then, as we just mentioned, we have the threat of flash flooding with rainfall totals of 2 to 4 inches expected across southeast Texas and 6 to 8 inches possible across southwest Louisiana. Now, once the squall line actually pushes through the area, the severe weather threat as well as the flash flood threat should come to an end. And we expect to have everything out of the area by about sunrise or a little after Monday morning. Thanks for listening, and we suggest you continue to monitor the weather through the evening through either our Facebook or Twitter pages or through your local television or radio media outlets to get the latest updates as well as any watches or warnings that are issued.